student. I am Sunshine Izacha, a BE Ed 1 student of Norso Shatton campus. Today, in this presentation, you will be learning everything you need to know about Lev Vygotsky's socio-cultural theory. Here, we'll take a look at the life of Mr. Vygotsky and other related topics. All information will be brought to you by a concise and efficient manner. Now, let's begin by knowing Mr. Vygotsky. Lev Semyonovich Vygotsky was a Russian psychologist known for his work on psychological development in children. He published on a diverse range of subjects and from multiple views as his perspective changed over the years. Vygotsky's socio-cultural theory views human development as a socially mediated process in which children acquire their cultural values, beliefs, and problem-solving strategies through collaborative dialogues with more knowledgeable members of society. Now, let's proceed with a brief overview. Ultimately, Vygotsky believed that human development is a socially mediated process. Vygotsky states that social interaction within the family and the community is the primary means by which children acquire behaviors. Children will enhance their cognitive processes relative to their own society and individuals closest to them socially. Vygotsky stands out from other prominent developmental psychologists in that he places significant importance on culture. He believed that there is a complex relationship between culture and child development. Vygotsky made it his mission to make a positive impact on child development. He was determined to analyze the effects of socialization on cognitive development. Vygotsky put forth the idea that learning occurs on two levels. First, the social level, essentially how the learner interacts with the community. Second is the individual level. Learning occurs inside the child's mind, interpsychological and intrapsychological learning. On to the next section, where we'll take a look at the life of Lev Vygotsky. The following quote is attributed to him. Today, Vygotsky is known for several impactful and powerful quotes. This is one of them. Lev Vygotsky, often called the Mozart of psychology because he came up with several different theories in a short span of time, demonstrating his ability and creativity. He was a true master in his field, and all his work came so quickly. In 1913, Vygotsky was admitted to Moscow University through a lottery system. At that time, there was just 3% Jewish student quota that benefited Vygotsky. It helped him get in. He studied a number of different disciplines. Vygotsky took an interest in the humanities, social sciences, and the arts. He studied at law school for a short period of time, eventually made his way to psychology and education where he found his place. Vygotsky's life was unfortunately cut short at the age of 37. At the time of his death, Vygotsky was unknown. However, shortly after his death, he was recognized as a leading expert in his field. The cause of his death was tuberculosis. Next, let's take a look at some of the major terms of the socio-cultural theory brought forth by Vygotsky. The socio-cultural theory of development studies the influence of peers, adults, and cultural beliefs on learning in children. One of the first themes of the theory is the use of psychological tools of the mind, with language being the greatest tool as a mean for communication. These intellectual tools provide methods for problem solving that children internalize through social interaction. In schools, note-taking is a culture-specific tool for student learning. The Vygotsky theory is centered on the belief that social interaction is essential to learning. Society increases development by engaging children in challenging activities. He also believed that pretend play leads to creative imagination. The socio-cultural theory emphasized the role of culture in the development of mental abilities such as language and speech. Various cultures in their own unique ways help children interpret how to act in the world. Cultures attach meaning to certain objects and experiences, which children then learn from. Next section is the zone of proximal development, one of the most important components of Vygotsky's work. The zone of proximal development, or ZPD, is defined as a space between what the learner is able to do without assistance and what the learner can do with assistance from an adult or a more skilled peer. ZPD can be broken down into three stages for the learner. The first represents tasks that the learner can do even with guidance from others. The second level is what the learner can do with assistance. And the third level is what the learner can do alone independently. Vygotsky argues that children won't reach their max potential without the help of other adults to get through that zone. The gap in learning is the zone of proximal development. For education, a child may know how to add numbers on their own. That child will be able to learn subtraction with the help of adults. Subtraction is achievable within the zone of proximal development. The adult can help them learn. Something like trigonometry for that child would be outside the zone even with the help from an adult. The child isn't ready to learn trigonometry. The ZPD offers the best chance to acquire new skills. And in that second level, where the children learn with assistance and guidance from other adults, that they also make use of the intellectual tools mentioned earlier. Continuing, we'll take a look at Vygotsky's study on private speech. Private speech. Vygotsky was one of the first psychologists to stress the importance of private speech and connect it to social interaction development. Private speech develops as children turn social speech inward and functions to help children self-regulate behaviors. Children use this private talk to guide their actions, sort of talking them through tough situations. Essentially, private is a cognitive tool that children use to plan what to do next. Vygotsky believes this use of language is a great way to overcome obstacles and increase imagination. Researchers have noted a positive correlation between private speech and young children and achievement in given tasks. Private speech leads to increased language skill. Vygotsky believed that children that engage in private speech have greater social competence than those that do not. He also hypothesized that private speech peaks between ages 3 to 7, with some studies suggesting ages between 3 to 4, other 4 to 5. The next topic of the study is the more knowledgeable other, or MKO. Vygotsky's assumption was that MKO, the more knowledgeable other. Children learn through interaction with others, with adults and peers that are highly skilled and more knowledgeable than they are socially. The more knowledgeable other is simply someone that is more skilled than another person at a particular task. For example, an adult is most likely to be more knowledgeable at reading than a young child. However, it doesn't have to be adult that is more knowledgeable. For example, one friend might learn how to play basketball by hanging out with another friend that is good at basketball. Next, we'll take a look at the scaffolding which make the use of the idea of the zone of proximal development. Scaffolding. Instructional scaffolding can be used to help students learn in the classroom and achieve independence. Teachers use instructional scaffolding as a tool for student growth. Scaffolding is widely used in education in various disciplines and grade levels. It's a wonderful academic support for students. Teachers set up a problem task for students to solve through small, challenging, and achievable steps. The teacher may be near the learner to support them along the way. The level of support is decreased as the student succeeds. Each successive step builds confidence in a student. Eventually, the learner is able to complete the task independently without any assistance. Scaffolding must take place in the zone of proximal development. Now, let's take a look at Vygotsky's work compared to Jean Piaget. Vygotsky versus Piaget. Psychologists Jean Piaget and Lev Vygotsky both studied cognitive development theories used to understand the learning in children. First off, Piaget is well known for his stages of development. He outlined four distinct stages, whereas Vygotsky did not propose or mention anything of the stages of development. Second, Piaget basically ignores the cultural influence on children that Vygotsky so strongly expressed. Piaget had a cognitive constructivist approach, while Vygotsky had a social constructivist approach. Third, Vygotsky focused on the more knowledgeable other and Piaget believed children learn from peers. Lastly, Vygotsky stressed a major role on language. Piaget provided minimal attention to language. Vygotsky argued that language played a crucial role in shaping thoughts. And that's all for today. Thank you for listening. I hope you have learned something about Lev Vygotsky's socio-cultural theory of development. Again, I am Sunshine Izacha, a BE Ed 1 student of Norso Shatun Campus. Again, thank you and God bless. Kinda weird that I won't be in that house again. When you hear our song